Wanted to talk about boots today and maintaining boots. If you're outdoors doing anything, you're gonna have some kind of footwear on. I just wanted to talk about leather, shoes, boots, any leather footwear that you're wearing out there that you want to last for a while, especially any expensive, good leather boots. I think this will apply. If you want your footwear to last a long time, you have to take care of it. And I really think, and there's evidence for it, that if you take care of your boots, they're going to last a bit longer. But I think there's a couple tricks to taking good care of boots that I didn't know it at some point, and maybe some of you don't know yet. So I just like to share some of these insights with you, and maybe you'll learn a couple things. So this is going to apply mostly to full grain leather shoes, boots, anything. So full grain means that uh, when you initially buy the boots, they're smooth. They don't have the kind of the soft. It's not turned inside out, or the leather isn't removed. The smooth part of the leather isn't taken off, and it's more. I think it's called nubuck or something like that. The other type of leather, but this is specifically about the smooth top grain, basically leather. As you're going to wear these boots, initially when you get them, you always want to have some kind of finish on your boots, like a conditioner and waterproofing. Usually, it's mink oil. Most of them have mink oil in them, and then other things as well. And that just helps the leather stay hydrated. It keeps it from cracking. It keeps it, because of the oils in the leather, it'll prevent water from seeping in. Of course, most of these boots will be Gore-Tex, like this one here, and so that's really giving you a lot of the waterproofing capabilities of the boots. But the leather itself, if it's actually treated with oil, will resist a lot of water penetrating even before it gets to the Gore-Tex. So, and you can actually go pick up or buy secondhand boots, kind of like I did with these, and just make sure they fit very well. It's very important. And if somebody else already broke them into their foot, you really have to be careful with not buying something that's going to be misfitting and going to hurt your foot. They were already kind of scratched up, and I've been wearing them since then and put a lot more wear on them. And you can see how horrible that shoe there looks. So as I'm going to be talking here, I'll cut in a lot of footage of kind of what I've been doing. And you can see how dirty those boots there are. That was after a trip that I took them on. They're very dirty and messed up, and haven't taken care of them in a while, and so I decided to finally take care of them. Okay, so when you get your boots, they're all dirty, really messed up. First thing you want to do is you want to remove the laces. Wash the laces. You can just wash them with some soap. Some hand soap is good. Rub them together, wash them, rinse them out. Those should be good. Let them dry. That's the easy part. The second thing you want to do is you want to get a soft bristled brush. Don't use any kind of hard wires or really hard brush. Just feel it with your finger. Make sure it feels pretty soft. You want to use that, and you can use hand soap. There's also different types of leather cleaners and such, but you can really just use hand soap. It works just as fine, I think, as other things, in my opinion. I mean, you could get higher end things to use on your leather, but using this hand soap is fine. Put some on, get them wet, and you can just start washing them. You want to make sure you wash all the little nooks and crannies, especially around all the seams and all the stitching. Really get in there, scrub all the dirt out, because the sand and little rocks that get lodged in there, that's what's really gonna, every time the boot flexes in those areas, that little sand, those little rocks are gonna cut through the leather and wear it down really quick. So you wanna get all that stuff out. You also wanna make sure you get the sole of the boot cleaned really well. Just clean everything you can and get all the resins and oil and everything that's on there. Just get it all off and get it really cleaned out. You can also do this, outside cold water. You can do it in your sink. Use more warm water. That's probably a little bit better than using the cold water. It'll be more effective. Once you do that, wash them out really well. Don't get the inside of them wet, because if you get water inside, it's actually a lot harder to dry with the Gore-Tex, and you're really gonna have to take a long time. But try to keep the water on the outside. Wash them out real well. The next thing is you want to let them dry. Now, to dry them, you do not want to set them out in the direct sunlight or anything like that, because that can shrink the leather unevenly, and it can crack it and other things like that. So you just want to let it air dry. You want to make sure that your boots dry out really well before you go out into the next step. I'd say leave them out to dry for at least a couple days, and just make sure they're really, really dry before you apply any of these materials that I'm going to talk about, especially the waterproofing and polish and all that stuff. You dry them up. The next thing is actually to go ahead and repair any rips or tears in the boot. So to do this part, you're going to need these materials. You're going to need some rubbing alcohol. I think it's a good cleaner. You're going to need some toothpicks, which are really helpful. You'll see why. You're going to need a couple Q-tips, or you can also use a little rag and a screwdriver or something. And then you're going to need the glue and a toothpick to apply it. And I'm not going to talk about ripping, if there's ripped leather actually, that's a little more complicated to fix. You can fix it with this method that I'm going to talk about, but mostly what I'm showing you here is there's a couple different types of products out there. One of them is called Freesole, another one's called Shoe Goo. There's a lot of other ones. I found Freesole. I've used it on several occasions and it seems to be the best. That stuff is really, really tough. It's probably better than most of the glue that's in the boots to start with. So what you want to do is you want to find these, look at the side of your boots and look at these little spots where you can see the outsole coming apart and coming undone from the upper of the shoe, and you can see these gaps on the sides, and might be some on the front, on the back. Just look all the way around. Once you find those spots where the leather is separated, what you want to do is you want to take a Q-tip, dip it in alcohol, and just really clean in there. Make sure you clean out all the garbage. You can also use a toothpick to pick out any rocks or anything in there, but make sure it's really nice and clean in there. Get that really cleaned out. You can also use a screwdriver or some kind of metal object, wrap a rag onto it, dip it into the alcohol, and also just clean in there. Once you clean all the way around in all those spots, then you want to just make sure that the alcohol dries. It's going to dry pretty quick. And then you just take that Freesole or Shoe Goo, whatever you have, and just apply it onto I found this to be the easiest way, is to apply it onto a toothpick and just roll it in there like this. Put it in there and let it kind of roll and pour into those little holes. So make sure that it's filled up all the way. And just go all around your boot and put it in there and fill all those little gaps and all those little rips. So after you've put in the glue, you're going to want to leave it for at least 24 hours. So that completes the gluing process. So here's a boot. You're going to want to leave that curing, like I said, for at least a couple hours. This has been curing for a couple days, actually. And you can see it stays, looks kind of wet, but it's just rubber, and it's really well dried out. So you can see where the spots where it ripped was really where the flexing happens. That's really the most common spot for it to come off, and also on the front there. It's been washed, it's been prepped, it's been glued. So the next step is really to apply the waterproofing. So there are a couple options for this. There's mink oil. This is just pure mink oil by Kiwi Outdoor. I'm going to have a link to this on Amazon down below if it's available. There are also other products. The label came off of this one, but this one's also mink oil with a couple different additives and preservatives and other waterproofing things. And then you're going to need some shoe polish. The other thing I'd say you want to have is either a rag. You can also just do this by hand, and I think actually the best way to apply this stuff is by using your bare hand or a gloved hand, because the warmth of the hand allows it to melt and really seep in there. And I've tried different options, but that seems to work well to start with. The other thing you can do is you can use a little brush like this, or you can use a toothbrush if you want that you can dedicate to this. Anything that just has some bristles, that'll allow it to get in there. So I'm going to just use my hand to start with, especially here on the front. So you just dip your hands in there and you just start to apply it like this. And because this is kind of like a big overhaul of the boot, this is going to need a lot of this stuff. Now after you've done this once, like every couple of years, maintaining the boot between your regular normal hikes is not going to need this much work. You might need an occasional application of this right here, of the mink oil, or you might just need a little polish. But the reason you want to do this, like I said, is this stuff really makes it nice and waterproof, and it's gonna put the color back in. So do you see the difference? So what actually I've done is on this one boot here, I've already finished it, and this is just so I can show you the difference. You can see the difference, how this is really dry and doesn't look really nice. You can see that there, as opposed to this, nice and shiny. This allows the water to bead right off. You want to make sure you get it in all the way, in all these little seams especially. You can see that that turned a nice dark color. So the only difference between these is this one has some shoe polish. Now this is not a necessary step, but if you do have shoe polish, it works nice. It actually gives it a little bit more black. The thing is that after you put this on, the waterproofing, you want to leave it for at least like 2 hours. So you want to leave it on for 2 hours and let it kind of absorb and bond into the leather or soak into the leather. And then you can put the shoe polish on. Once you put the shoe polish on, you can use another brush, and this is called a polishing brush. This one has 100% horsehair. Found it somewhere. And then you just want to polish it. And let me show you what this does. There's the polished shoe. You can see the really nice shine on it. Now just look at that shoe compared to what it was like. It looks like a nice, almost like a brand new shoe in terms of the leather. You guys will be amazed at how nice these boots and shoes will look after you take care of them like this. It's really actually satisfying. And you know, this is something that you can really just do once a year, this kind of overhaul on your boots, depending on how much you use them. And then next time you take them out, all you're gonna have to do is just rinse them down and maybe just put a brush on them, brush it off. So hopefully this has been helpful to you guys in terms of how to maintain your boots and your leather shoes, your hiking boots especially, and such. Ask any questions below. Check out the links below. Subscribe to my channel. And it's actually very nice when you guys give me a thumbs up on the video. That really helps my channel out. So make sure to do that if you could. And thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you in another video soon.